Here is another review, and this time it's about Canon EOS R and how it almost beat up my Canon 1DX Mark II. So here it is, my Canon EOS R. I got it for 4 months for testing for another project, and I also decided to explain you how it works in the hands of a professional photographer. I took it with me for several big sports events like soccer games, Slovakia versus Croatia. Also I took it with me for World Cup Championship in canoe slalom, and also I did several event shootings like the corporate type. I did like hundreds of business portraits, several campaigns with that, and the reason why it almost beat up my Canon 1DX Mark II as a main camera. I decided to cut this review into 4 parts. First one will be the autofocus performance. Second one will be the operating of this new system. Third will be new lenses and adapters and how it performs all together with new lenses, RF mount, also the old lenses via the adapter, and the final thoughts and the reason why it almost beat up my old DSLR. Okay, AF performance or autofocus performance on Canon EOS R. All around the internet or on all the forums and everywhere else, you just heard about the problems with autofocusing with the new mirrorless type, and that it's slow, not accurate, and so on. And I'm gonna tell you the difference. I got this, not this one, but the first version, few days it was officially released, and I have to tell you, it wasn't that hard to focusing with it, but it wasn't the same as the standard DSLR. Nowadays I am using firmware version 1.3. Also there is firmware version number 1.4, but as long as this is borrowed, I don't want to upgrade the firmware version. So I was shooting all the time for the 4 months with the system 1.3. Even though I took it with me for several football games, also I took it with me for shooting wild water canoeing, and also I shoot with it several campaigns. So I'm going to divide the AF performance in 2 sides. One is about shooting sport or moving object, and one is for shooting stills. When you are shooting moving object, you have to realize that even though you are shooting with standard DSLR, you have to switch it just for one manual point and wait for the moment and then press the shutters. That's all you have to learn. You are never ever, even though it with mirrorless or even with standard DSLR, you are not going to shoot just for automatically mode that the camera can choose which focus point you are going to use. As long as you switch just for one point, I didn't find any problem at all during shooting whitewater slalom or during shooting soccer game. It just performed really well, and I also tried it the long lenses. I had 400mm, 600mm lens with me, so I didn't notice any problem at the speed or accuracy of the shooting performance. The other side is when you are shooting stills, so nothing that moves so quickly. I did extremely lot of shooting of people, also some hiking and almost everything you can imagine. I didn't have any problem with focusing, and the first time in my life after 13 years as a professional photographer, I didn't have the standard problem with your camera that you have to find the focusing system and move the focus points all around. With Canon EOS R, you can focus all around the whole area, whole the image, because the eye detection or the face detection works really well. So now you can just focus how you are gonna set the composition of your images, and you can fully depend on the focusing system that it works its magic and it will find the face or the eye. With this I didn't have any problem with focusing. So mythos number one burned. Sorry, there ain't any problem with focusing with dual pixel autofocus. How about the operating? You know that with EOS R they change everything. There's missing joystick. You have got there some funny slide bar. I have no idea why they put it in here. I didn't use it for all the time. I just set it to off, or just to be honest, I have it set on just for reviewing the image and sliding over them, that's all. I have no idea why they moved the standard operating for Aperture and put it up. I hate it there. You will have to get used to it, how to handle your camera, and so you can operate it. But otherwise, working with this Aperture setting was a little bit hard for me, because you need to learn another way how to grip your camera, but you can get used to it. Now about the missing joystick. You are going to use the touch screen for your focusing. So you put your camera in front of your eye and you will change the focusing point with your thumb. So you'll just slide over on your touch display, and that's it. That's all the changes. Also, there are some missing buttons when you compare it to the 5D series, but you can get used to it, that you can find everything here on the manual focus button or here on the back. I have to say I love the tilt shift screen, because I'm getting older and don't like to bend over and lie to the ground, and now I can just flip the display and work from the ground. So it's much more easier. Okay, let's talk about the new lenses. I got almost all of them. I got borrowed the 24 to 240, 24 to 105, 85 millimeters, 50 millimeters, 35 millimeters. And I have to say those lenses are extremely amazing. Okay, just the primes. But still, I didn't get touch on the 24 to 70 2.8 or the 28 to 70 2.0. Maybe next time I get the chance to play with those lenses. The primes are absolutely amazing. Also, I got for testing this adapter, so I can use my old lenses, and this one is amazing. Here you can see CPL, circular polarizing filter. It's easy to operate, and finally I can use CPL on my 11 to 24 millimeter lens. Finally. So I played with this adapter all the time. I use it for all my lenses. I didn't notice any slowdown or anything when I was using my older AF lenses. So you don't have to worry about anything with this adapter. For 4 months I used Canon EOS R and 1DX. Most of the time I use both bodies together, because I need 2 lenses, one with tele, one with wide. At the beginning I was just shooting with my 1DX because I am used to it, and for the first 1 month I was just taking with me the Canon EOS R as a second or backup body. After 1 month I decided to go for a Pohoda festival, the biggest festival here in Slovakia, and I took just this one with me. I didn't bring the 1DX with me at all. I was forced to use it as a main and the only body on the event. After this event I was so surprised by the performance, because finally I can focus in a really bad condition. It has 30 megapixels maximum ISO at 40,000. From the technical side, it's perfect camera. Also, you are able to focus even on the corner. So here on the corner you can have your focus point. It's amazingly when you compare it to the old DSLR system. After a few months of shooting with it, I took it with me for each and every one of the shooting, and the EOS R was my main body, and my 1DX was just backup. And the reason why it didn't beat up as a main camera and why I'm not switching is easy. Can you see it? Just one slot. Only one slot. Sorry. This is like a huge mistake from you, because even though it is small, it's new one, I understand it, but if you are going to put second slot inside, I'm switching. But right now, sorry, 1DX is still the best camera on the market you can find. And just because there is one port for memory card. I was so frightened all the time when I was coming home from shooting, and you can't imagine that when you have production that costs like 20,000 and you have just one camera slot and all the pictures are just in one SD card. I was really frightened that something happened to it. So this is the reason, this is my review of Canon EOS R, and hope you enjoy it, and see you next time.